Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Angels Always Win 444. So, the reason I'm recording this video is just a quick little message. I don't know if other people have been feeling like this, but I feel like it's just, when you watch a lot of injustices in the world and it just like, you can tell it's starting to really bug you and build up in you. And it's not like, so let me start by saying that every time lately I've been watching videos and it's like, what's your intuition telling you? And it's like the pick a card readings, right? But I've noticed that even as I'm reading it, I already know like the message I need to hear. I know to hear, because your first reaction or like the first thought that comes to your head when you're not purposely trying to find something is the one that's usually like your intuition kicking in. And mine lately, it was funny because I was in the car and I was gonna, grab one of the pick a what are they called? Pick a card readings, and I was gonna pick my card. And then I noticed that like when I picked the card, I don't know if I wanted to hear that, but when I read what is your intuition telling you, I immediately, like, this other little voice in my head was just like, to start a fire, like start a fucking fire, burn it all. And I feel like we've been having this just like this group anyways, these people, you maybe in your life, you feel like you're just ready for something new. But it's more than that. It's not just, oh, I want something new for the sake of having something new. It's more like you've seen those injustices and it's like building up and building up and building up and building up. And you're getting to the point where like I feel like even God is like, seriously, you're still not doing anything. It's kind of like that like an angel of wrath type of energy, where you watch someone you love and you care about and you see them take hit after hit after hit, and you see them being hurt and abused and manipulated and lied to and deceived. And what it feels like though is it's getting to this point of you just need to start. And again, this is obviously spiritual. This is not a physical thing. Don't fuck with that shit here. It's just like you just need to start getting rid of things. You need to start burning things, like start a fire. And then I found it funny because I came into my room and I was like, oh, I'm going to share this message. But when I came into my room, then I remembered that we had like our bonfire going, and that was one of the first videos I'd released in a long time, because I actually have pre-recorded a lot of videos. But I still have them set as private in my YouTube library because I still have to go in and do the title and the description and like the tags and like the edit, like that kind of editing and like the end screen. And I'm being really serious. I will pay someone to do that, or I just need to find a way to do that in a way that's fun for me. Because there's like hundreds of videos that just haven't been released because of the dumb little perfectionist details. But it is me. But also when I released the 3 videos that I released about the fire initiation on the 23rd of March, it was funny because those I literally, I was like, oh, I can't release these. I didn't do like, I don't even think I did it like an actual description. I think I just put like, here, enjoy. But it was because it was one of those things where it was like, when you feel like the world needs this, Spirit needs you to tell people this, Holy Spirit needs you to, get this message to someone somewhere needs to hear this message. And it feels like that energy of like, someone somewhere needs to hear this message, so you need to get it out. And I was just like, but it's not perfect. But I literally was just like, boop, go. I was like, if it goes down in flames, it goes down in flames. But it's just time to like, if that's the only way you can make something move, then that's just the way you got to do it, right? Even lighting that fire under your own butt. Like, because I was like, I'm not going to do it, and I'm just comfortable. I'm comfortable doing these videos and being like, oh, well, I did my part, Spirit, I recorded the video, I got the message out, I channeled it for you. And Spirit's like, the fuck? Who's going to be able to access it in your private library? Like, no one. But then other things too, because then that's an injustice to Spirit. That's an injustice to love, to light, to strength, to that elevated frequency that I am not sharing that, because it's like, I chose you to channel this. I chose you to be this testimony. I chose you to be this walking prayer. I chose you, and you are stifling your story. You are not talking about your experiences. You're not talking about how you're a walking prayer, how you've overcome so many experiences, how you've gone through the fire and you've been, persecution by fire, or what is it, trial by fire, and you made it out. Like, God's like, I stood by your side and I helped you. whatever you call them, right? Whatever you call that I am. But that's what it feels like. It feels like that injustice, but it's so many injustices in the world right now. Obviously, I don't really watch the news because I know there's so much going on. But at the same time, it's kind of like I turned a blind eye to reality for so long. And yesterday I watched 2 videos and it was so saddening. It was children passing. Actually, it was 3 videos. But it was dumb things, like accidents that shouldn't have happened. And I was just appalled at the fact that, like, it happened and it could have been avoided. Like, just dumb, silly things. Like, truly dumb things. Like, accidents. Like, just freak accidents. And I'm like, are you serious? The one in, like, 1,000 chance. I'm so sorry. My lips suddenly, like, got so dry. I could feel the thing. Your lips are dry. Your lips are parched. They're on fire. Your lips are on fire. But it just feels like needing... It's an injustice for you to have... This is gonna be weird. It's an injustice for you to have gone through such an awful thing happening to you, or that happened to you, and you not live as a testimony. You not live glorified for your perseverance. That you not live in that grace of having gone through it and being forgiven for whatever happened. That you not live in this present moment, that you stay trapped and stuck and in that quiet mode, that you not share your stories to enlighten others. That's kind of what it feels like. But again, it's watching, okay, so God watching us, you watching someone you love just get beaten after beaten after beaten. And chances are, if you're watching that happen around you, chances are you're doing that to yourself as well, or it's happening to you. Because sometimes we see things and we're like, oh my God, that's so unfair, that's so sad. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to her. Or I'll speak up for you, right? I'm over here, it's like a hypocritical thing where it's like, I'll speak up for you. But then it's like, if that thing happened to me, I wouldn't, like, do anything about it kind of thing. Or I would think I was doing something, but in reality, it was like fear manipulating me into thinking I was doing something, but in reality, I'm not doing anything. But maybe that's why my intuitive message is start a fire. Like, burn some shit, burn some bridges. You don't need to have all those bridges in your life. And also, it's like, burn that bridge. That bridge is weak and it's going to cause accidents, so burn it so that it can be rebuilt, so that spirit can see, okay, a new bridge needs to be built here. If it is meant to be built there, it will be built there, and it will be reinforced. It'll have, reinforced systems, support systems, whatever it is. But it's just time. So, I hope this message was helpful in some way, shape, or form. I thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing here on this channel and turning on that notification bell so that you can know when I post. I will be posting more regularly, and like I said, I'm just going to try to get over my whole perfectionist thing. And I'm just gonna post the messages, because it's not about, I think I'm taking it so personal because I'm like, oh my God, what are people gonna think? And it's not professional. But the thing is, if people click on these videos, it's because you're here for the message, not for my description, not for the title, not for the tags. I mean, yes, it would help. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, but at the same time, it's like I gotta trust Spirit to do her work, its work, to elevate, to get the message to the people who need to hear it. And I think the messages will get to the people who need to hear them. It doesn't have to have some, fancy title, crazy, whatever. I think Spirit will just do the work, and I just have to learn how to trust Spirit. So I will be posting more regularly. I got to start releasing all the ones I had, so I got to put them on a schedule, or get them to start releasing out, because it feels like it's a lot of messages where Spirit's like, I'm going to light a fire under your ass if you don't, release these videos now. Like, these videos are messages that could potentially save other people's lives. And it's like I'm hoarding it. But at the same time, that's an injustice to Spirit. But at the same time, I'm letting other mundane injustices happen to me, whether I'm recognizing them as injustices or not. And I think that's the message for you too. Like, a lot of things may be going on in your life, and you may be like, oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. They'll get their karma. It's like, yeah, they will, but Spirit's saying, but you can serve them those papers right now. You can get your justice, and I will take care of their karma. You serving those papers to someone, this is, like, for me, it's papers, okay? But it's like, it's an injustice because it keeps you frozen in time, because it's a thing in the back of your head that you have to do. You have to go you know, pick up that money. You have to go file those papers. You know, you have to get that person out of your life. You need to apologize to a person. Maybe that's a thing too. Just whatever it is for you that you know you're supposed to do, and you're just like postponing it and you're just not doing it, and it's in the back of your head where you're not even resting properly. You're not living life fully because it's always right there going me, right? Like little, and it's like, stop, right? It's time to face these demons. It's time to face these fears, these traumas, these insecurities. It's time to, even if they're not super traumatic anymore, even if you've healed past them and it's just that last little step, it's just time to close out that chapter. It's really time to close out that chapter and then burn the book. Burn the book. You know the lessons. Your heart, mind, body, and soul know the lessons that you learned from it. You don't have to keep reliving those bad experiences. You've looked at it. You've examined it. You've seen where, you know, you went wrong, someone else went wrong, a situation went wrong. Wrong by different. What could have been done for the betterment of everyone, kind of thing. And then just, you know, fold that paper up and then throw it in a little bonfire. Start your bonfire. This could be, if you can do a controlled fire, like outside in a safe environment on your burn days or whatever, go ahead and do that. Write down on your pieces of paper what you'd no longer want to have to carry, you know. Write down the problem or the issue. Write down the situation, right? We'll say the situation. Then write down what you feel went wrong, what you could have done differently. And then just say thank you. And then write thank you at the bottom. Thank you. And then just fold it up. And then just start a little fire and just let go of that. Say, look, I have learned the lessons. If Spirit ever needs me to revisit it, it will come back into my head. But I have done my work here. It is done. And then free yourself from the like those chains of guilt and shame and torment and whatever else, sorrow, hate, anger, whatever is binding you to something that is no longer helping you grow. It's actually hindering your growth because you're constantly here because something's like tugging and tugging, right? So this is my hair tie, but something's constantly tugging and tugging and tugging, and you're like, you're fighting harder, but so is it because it wants to stay down there. It's not meant to go higher with you. It's like that crow pecking at that eagle, right? But in this case, it's like the crow is pecking at you, and like, let's say like the flock of crows is also underneath you, and you're caught by a hair tie. And as the eagle, you know you're going to fly higher. You know you're meant to soar higher. You know you have the wing capacity to get yourself up to a higher altitude. And that crow pecking at you will eventually fall away. But in this situation, it's like you accidentally are tied by a hair tie. For whatever reason, the bald eagle got its like a hair tie stuck around it, and so did the crows, and they're fighting because they can't go that high. They can't go that high. They know if they go that high, they're gonna die. And you're over here trying to pull and pull and pull, but like they're pulling down because their survival is down here. They thrive in this area. They are not meant to go higher at like how the eagle's trying to go. And the eagle's like trying to fly, right? My little eagle. The eagle's trying to fly up higher, and it's like you keep getting this resistance and you don't know where it's coming from. It's like you're putting the brakes on yourself, but you don't know where it's coming from because you're not directly putting the brakes on yourself. It's an energy attached to you. It's a thing you haven't done. It's a person. It's a place. It's a situation that needs to be handled. And it's down here, and it's saying, no, I'm supposed to be down here. I'm not supposed to fly with you. I'm not supposed to fly up with you. I'm not supposed to fly that high with you. I was meant to always stay here. Stop pulling me. You know, say goodbye. File those papers. Burn this bridge, because this bridge is going to kill both of us. You're going to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight, and eventually grow weary from fighting, and you're never going to get to the altitude you want to because you're fighting against a whole flock of things that are not meant to go with you to a higher elevation in life, a higher altitude in life. You are fighting and you're holding, oh gosh, there's so much resistance. You are holding on to it, whether you realize it or not. So it's like Spirit saying, burn this bridge, burn that hair tie so that it can fall. And you know, those people, and as soon as they do, you're going to have such a skyrocket effect because you're so used to going and going and going. And as soon as you do, right, like they're over here, as soon as you finally let go, it's like a boop, like a really quick like pop up, a really quick glow up, a really quick elevation, a really quick feeling elated. You're just happy. You're like, oh, I'm free. I am free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. Like I've done that. Like when I put that video, I was like, okay, you know what? I did my part. Boop. There you go, Spirit. There you go, world. Have your message. And then I felt so good though. I was just like, oh gosh, like thank God. I got 3 videos out. We're good. Just got 100 and some more to go. But It was that freeing thing where I didn't, it's different things in life. It's not just, videos and content and art. It could be, though. It could be the art you're hiding from the world. It could be the stories you're hiding from the world. It could be the gift of your song, your voice that you're hiding from the world. But yeah, so Spirit's like, it's time to burn those hair ties. It's time to burn those hair ties that are keeping your eagle self bound right here. And, these people want to come down here, but the thing is, they are not meant to go up with you yet. They know, they know they're not where you're going. They know they're not going to the same place you're going. They know they can't go to the same place you're going to go. They know they don't want to go to the same place where you're going to go. Because if a crow tried to fly that high, even if it wanted to, it would become uncomfortable. Unless Spirit and, it went through its own transformation and, that person or situation becomes an eagle. And that is Spirit's choice, though. You can't force a crow to be an eagle. You cannot force someone to be something they are not ready to be. You cannot force, because it would be the detriment. It would be detrimental to that crow. It would be detrimental to that thing. If it is not meant to be an eagle with you yet, or ever, you would kill that crow by taking it up to a higher altitude because you're an eagle and you're like, well, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. You don't recognize that some people aren't eagles. Some people are crows. And they are beautiful, wonderful things. They are beautiful messengers, because crows aren't just, ugly, evil like birds. No, crows are actually symbolic because they're more like a shadow messenger, the thing you don't want to see. Spirit trying to get your attention when you don't want to look. And that's why you see crows. It's also like crows, you see them in places of grieving. And it's not because, they're evil and they get drawn to evil things. No, they are there as your companion through your shadows, through your darkness, through your grief. They are there to accompany you along your not river, darkness, your valley of darkness. That's Spirit right there with you. That's Spirit with you at the cemetery while you grieve a loved one. That is Spirit trying to get your attention from the crow cawing on the street or cawing on a gloomy day. It's Spirit saying, okay, you're not looking at the pigeon, right? Like, you're not looking at the beautiful, wonderful birds and the beautiful blessings I'm sending you in life. Okay, well, I'll be here then. I'll be here in the form of a crow. Something I know is going to get your attention because you're either going to be afraid of it or you're just going to hear it calling because they're loud. Their message, their voice is loud. But they are messengers. They are harbingers of news, of Spirit trying to tell you something, trying to get your attention to look at something. And right now, in my head, it popped up when, in the movie I Am Legend, there's a saying where a little child is like, Daddy, and then she's like, look at the butterfly. And it's just like, look at the beautiful things in life. Look at the innocence in life. Look at the beautiful children in life. Look at just their innocence, their purity, their love, their light. It's untainted, right? Until like an adult or an external force acts upon it. But otherwise, that child would just grow and 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 grow until an opposing force were to act upon it. Like stereotypes, social conditioning, norms, bad parenting, neglect, abuse, right? People are beaten down, but we are all still that beautiful, wonderful energy trying to go up and trying to just love and be amazing and wonderful and enjoying life and enjoying the beauty and the honest purity of life. And it's so sweet and it's so sad, though, because in the movie, he has lost this child, but he just remembers, he's about to die. He's trying to figure out how to save humanity, pretty much. And because he found a cure for something. But the thing is, the bad guy is right in front of him trying to attack him because he took something of his, but made it good. He took his zombie wife, or his mutated wife, and he turned her into a human again, but the guy doesn't know it. He thinks that he just took her to kill her. He doesn't realize that she's okay. But either way, he's trying to attack him, and he has a choice. He can either, the only choice is, they're all gonna die, but then he's like, or I can sacrifice myself, and he goes into, he has, a hand grenade, or, some type of, thing, but he goes head on with this mutated, awful person. And the way I'm thinking of it now is, he goes head on with this demon. He goes head on with this motherfucker that's trying to kill him, trying to kill the people he's trying to protect. There's two other people. There's a little boy and there's a mom. They found him and he found them, type of thing. But he has to go head on with this thing, and he takes the bomb, and he ends up in the process, because he hears his son's voice saying, Daddy, look at the butterfly. And then he turns around and he sees the little boy and the mom crying and she's trying to comfort him and just like shush him, and like she's just singing as she's like, you know, a mom trying to comfort like a baby and just being like, it's okay, you know, and like shh, and like crying and freaking out, right? Because you have this demon roaring right here. You have this like thing, and you know it's trying to come and kill you. But then he takes the hit because he's like, all right, get into that cellar, and there's like a little crawl space. He's like, get in there, and he closes it. And they're like, no, get in here with us. But then he told them, he's like, it will never stop. They will never stop coming for us until they get me. Because they wanted the guy, because again, he was the scientist who had taken the mutated woman to study her, and he had found the cure to make her a human. So he's like, they won't stop. They won't stop until they get me. And he's like, if I come in here with you, that is sealing your guys' death. That is sealing your death. And he's like, I can't do that, right? Like, I can't do that to your child. I can't do that to you. You saved my life, because he was kind of suicidal at one point, because he was the last person for years. He hadn't encountered another human for a long time. And he was just surrounded by darkness, right? And this is metaphorical in the sense of, you know, sometimes we haven't seen lightness. We haven't seen kindness. We haven't seen love. We haven't seen pure, unconditional love in so long. We've been surrounded by, you know, mutated versions of it, deceitful versions of it, manipulated versions of love, tainted versions of love, right? Because we have all been tainted in some way, shape, or form by a situation or something. But, and, you know, and then he becomes suicidal because he's just like, it's not worth it, you know, I've lost everything, because they take his dog. That was the only thing he had left, was a dog that wasn't sick, because they can get infected. And he was just really good about protecting his dog. And that was the last thing he had to remind him of that family, because it was his son or daughter's little puppy. It was a puppy when this whole like thing started. But that was the last thing he had, and they actually end up like getting the dog sick. Like the mutated things, I think they bite it or they scratch it, and he ends up having to put the dog down himself because it turns on him. And, you know, sometimes in life, that's sometimes some of the very saddest things, is when the one thing we loved, we cherished the most, especially with our kids, they turn on us. And sometimes you have to, like, you have to say goodbye. You have to burn that bridge and say, okay, like, I love you, but this is, or like people you love the most, people you thought you would never be able to live without, people you were like, I can never live without this person. Those people are crows. And if you take them with you everywhere you go, they run the risk of getting hurt. They run the risk of dying, because that dog, you know, it ran that risk every day. But there are some situations it knew it shouldn't have gone into, but because it loved its master, the puppy, it was a girl puppy, because she loved her master, she followed him to save him, to protect him. And in the process, she ended up getting hurt because one of those things like attacked her. And she had no business, and he had said like, no, like go. And she came, and that's when she gets hurt. And that's why he's like so devastated, because he knows that because that love was there, that person came, they ended up getting hurt because they had no place in that situation. They were not meant to get into that situation. They weren't meant to go into that place. So a lot of people in your life, in your situation, around you, they are just crows. They are people that are always going to forever love you. But sometimes, and just for a little bit, it doesn't mean you're always going to be flying this high. Sometimes you'll come back down. Eagles eventually do touch ground again, because they have a nest, they have homes, they hunt, right? But sometimes the eagle needs to fly this high to train itself, to build its like stamina up, to know it's that free, to survey the whole land, to survey, okay, where is the, you know, where are flocks, herds, whatever, you know, to understand life, you have to get that higher elevated viewpoint. And this is like, but eventually you'll come back down. So it's not like you have to say goodbye to these people forever. For some you may, because right, you have to migrate to a different land to get more sustenance, more resources. But for others, it's like, you just have to learn to let things come and go in your life. Those messengers will appear in different situations, different lessons, different people, different places, different things. Those lessons, that love though, that you have, it will always be there. It will always come. It just, you don't have to hold on to it though, because if you are that eagle holding on to that crow, you're going to kill that crow if you try to take it to the same elevation that you're going. So you just got to burn those bridges and just lovingly say like, I love you, but this tether, right? This tether is not going to work for both of us. Or maybe by burning this tether, right? Our little picture, right? By burning this tether that you have with this person, this bridge, Spirit's like, cool, burn that tether. I will give you a longer tether. So you can still be connected to that person. You can still do long distance. You could still love them from afar. There will always be that loving, caring connection there. But now you're both in altitudes that you are comfortable flying in. You are now in a position you are comfortable in. Because sometimes you can tell when you're suppressing yourself for someone and you can tell it's uncomfortable. But also they can tell that you're pulling, or like they want to fly higher. They want to fly higher because they love you and they want to be with you. But the thing is, it will be harmful to them. And like, that's not worth it. It's not worth it to ever lose someone because you want them right next to you and up your butt all the time. Sometimes we have to let people go, no matter how much it hurts us. We have to burn those bridges, no matter, how well we thought we built them and how healthy we thought it was. Like, no, just let it go. And Spirit's saying, let it go. If you let this tether right here go, like, just let it go. And it's Spirit saying, I have it, it's an injustice to you. It's an injustice to them because you're hurting them. They're hurting you. And then Spirit's also like, hello, we're waiting for you up here in, the higher altitude. We're waiting for you so that you can fly with your flock, so that you can give more messages, so you can see what's going on, so you can come up here and get your message really quick. We're waiting for you. So Spirit's also like, come on, you guys are all hurting everyone right now at this point because you're waiting, you're pulling, you're waiting on them. They're trying to get to you. We're waiting on you type of, it's just injustice all around. So it's like Spirit saying, I need you to just let them go, let that tether go, and a healthier tether will come into place. A longer one will come into place. Spirit's like, oh, but surprise, like, I've got an even longer tether. These irritants are like the same thing. But Spirit's like, I've got an even longer tether so that, if you really want that person, place, or thing to stay in your life, I can have it healthily work. But it's not going to be the same thing as what you thought it was going to be. You're not going to be, maybe romantic partners, but you'll be really good business partners or really good platonic friends from afar. Or, there's just a little bit more emotional distance, a little bit more space for each of you to individually grow. So it's time to start burning some bridges in a healthy, loving manner and allow room for more regrowth and more, right? Because maybe it's not even going to be a bridge. Maybe it's going to become like a really cool commercialized plaza all the way across. I mean, it would still be a bridge, but anyways. All right, that was your message for today. That was a lot longer than I thought, but it was also really cool getting into the whole eagle and crow thing because I really find that fascinating. And also, like, crows will peck at eagles. I don't know why they peck at them. They'll peck at them, maybe because they just want to, like, mess with them. But then the eagle, like, isn't even bothered, though, sometimes because they just keep going up high. So this is, also for people that are just bugging you and they're bugging you. If you've let that person go and they're still on you, they're still bugging you, they're still like pecking at you, they're still, nitpicking at you, they're still judging you, they're still, talking crap about you, just keep flying high because eventually that altitude will cause that crow to fall away. And this is, for the people you have let go or the people who aren't even tethered to you in any way, shape, or form, but they want to be. They want to be all up in your shit, right? They want to be all up in your bubble. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know. They're just pecking and pecking and pecking. Eventually that crow is going to have to fall away because they're not going to be able to keep going up and ascending up into the higher altitudes that you are meant to. All right. Well, this was a super awesome reading. I will release it today. Today is the accountability check. Today is the 28th of March. So I will release this so we can talk about it. But yeah, and also there was a thing too where I think in the previous video I talked about Burning Man, and it was so weird because then it was kind of cool because then this girl, I just started following her too on YouTube. I just subscribed to her, I think. She does a lot more astrology. I'm not very familiar with like the stars and planets and stuff and alignments. But I do like her insight on it. But it was interesting because she started talking about Burning Man energy. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I just talked about that too. So it's really cool when you start seeing those other, those other birds of a kind, right? What is it? Birds of a feather flock together, stay together. It's interesting because then you start finding, when you start releasing the things that are holding you back, the things that aren't really meant for you anymore, you start going into like, more into your own natural element. So it's super cool too, just the way connectivity works. So yeah, that Burning Man video, it's that energy of, where I said like the initiation and like letting things go. It's you letting those cords and ties and attachments go so that you can be better for yourself and be better for them too. Be that guide, be that beacon who can lead the flock of crows by ascending, you know, higher, and you can see any troubles, you can feel the wind out, you can project, do a land projection survey thing. I have like hair from pulling my hair. Okay. But anyways, thank you so much for being here on this channel with me. Thank you for spending time with me, and I hope this video helps you. I know it's gonna help you. Not like I know and I'm being egotistic, more like whoever spirit wants to find this message, I'm sure it will be helpful and guiding in some way, shape, or form. And I pray that it is. Me as a human, me as a person, I pray that this does help you in some way, shape, or form, that it guides you and it brings peace to your heart and your mind and your soul, and just helps you know that together we are all collectively letting go of things that we love and we cherish and we hold dear. And it's not saying we're not going to love them anymore, we're not going to cherish them, we're not going to hold them dear. It's just saying, because I love you, I am letting you go to where you're more comfortable so that you can grow at your own pace. And I'll be up here. And then one day, right? One day we'll all join each other. We'll all be together again. So it's just, it's knowing that you can love without that fear that they'll never come back. It's just loving from afar. Speaking of which, I love you all from afar. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye.